orchestra parents. I am Casey Buck, and I am the orchestra director at Conway High School and also the assistant orchestra director at all the middle schools here in Conway. I've had this idea for a long time about wanting to do a kind of a series of videos that explain practicing and what that really means. I know many of you out there, parents, are not musicians, or maybe you were in band or choir but never played a string instrument, and so you come at it and you want to support your child in this really cool orchestra thing, but you're not really sure what you should be hearing and how to do that. So I wanted to share some ideas with you about those things. First off, I just wanted to start with saying why we practice, because it's one of those things where we sort of assume you're supposed to practice, but why do we actually do that? So I'd actually like to start with a quote by Aristotle, and it's, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit." So much of what we repeatedly do in practice is building habits. And one of the things that you'll hear me talk about in the successive videos in this little series here is about forming good habits. We can form bad habits when we play, and we can train those bad habits in, or we can form good habits, and we can really train those in. And consequently, one of them will set us up on a path for success, and one will set us up on a path for really struggling in our music. Practice is really about building muscle memory, and muscle memory is this idea of sort of training the body, training those fingers, the hands, the arms, all of the way we sit and hold ourselves into how we're supposed to do this thing so that it becomes natural, it becomes our default position. If you think about a basketball player practicing free throws over and over, or a pitcher, a softball or baseball pitcher practicing pitches over and over, just to train those muscles and to train that motion in so that they don't have to think about it. They can perform that every time consistently. And that's what we're trying to do on violin, viola, cello, or bass. In order to get good at anything, we have to practice, right? That might be doing math homework, that might be reading, whatever it is, those are the things that we need to do. The more carefully and the more consistently we practice, the faster and the better our progress will be. So those are some things that you can kind of hold in mind as you're thinking about it. A student who practices about 80 minutes a week, 100 minutes a week over the course of a school year will have practiced over about 10,000 minutes by the time they get to the ninth grade level. Think about how far ahead that student is going to be from other students who maybe are not practicing at home on a regular basis. Think about their leadership role in the ensemble. Think about their confidence level on their instrument and the joy that they find in being able to play and play well and have that positive reward of knowing that they're playing well and knowing that they're doing better. And then think about the student who doesn't practice regularly, who starts to get further and further and further behind the other students in their class. And so by that, say, ninth grade level, when they're in for 2 or 3 years, they start to feel just really hopelessly lost, and it's almost too late to turn it around because they're just so far behind everybody else. Kids that get into that position often find themselves stressed out, they find themselves unmotivated, they really lose the joy, and the reason that they signed up to play music was they thought this would be enjoyable and fun and rewarding, and it's no longer that, and they usually wind up dropping out, and they usually wind up quitting because they're just so far behind they feel like they can't handle it anymore. That's not what we want for any of our students. So in the next few videos, we'll talk some more about some details about practicing. I hope this has been helpful, and stay tuned for the next one.